Our goal is to be able to correctly use latitude and longitude and to map latitude and longitude coordinates on a map. I noticed that there was some confusion on how to label a map when we don't have zero, or when we don't have north, south, east, or west behind the degrees. So this is a quick review. A latitude line is an imaginary line, meaning that it's not a real line on the planet, and it measures distance north or south of the equator. So these are our latitude lines. They run from left to right. That's the direction they go, but they measure distance north and south of the equator. So all of these lines right here are latitude lines. So in blue, these are the latitude lines. The goal of a latitude line is to tell us distance, like how far away are we from zero? It would be like saying, how far away are we from Minneapolis? We would use miles, but when you are looking at a map, they don't use miles. They're going to use something called degrees. Degrees is a measure of distance. 1 degree is about 70 miles. So if you're 10 degrees away from something, you are approximately 700 miles away from something. A degree is to measure distance. We are wanting to know how far away are we? So when we're looking at our latitude lines, so like 30 degrees here, 15 degrees, know that this 15 degrees is the exact same 15 degrees as this over here. It's the same latitude line. And we're measuring, where are we from 0 degrees latitude? Where are we from this line right here? So we would say, well, what direction did we have to go from 0 to get to this 15-degree line? We would have had to go up here. And we say, well, what direction is up? That is north. I had to go north to get to 15 degrees. This over here is 15 degrees north of the equator. From this point, I would also go to any of these other lines and say all of these lines are north of the equator. 45 degrees, that is how far away I am from 0, but what direction did I have to get to 45 degrees up there? I had to go north from 0 to get to that 45-degree line. So which means that these over here, all of these are north. That is what direction we are from 0 degrees latitude. Even 90. 90 is right at the top here, and that is 90 degrees north. We are at the North Pole up here. Good thing to keep in mind is that latitude measures distance north and south, which means whenever you see a latitude line, it will only have 3 different labels behind it. It'll have 0 degrees latitude. It might have north behind it. Or here, these would have like south behind it because these are all south of 0 degrees latitude. So for these, in order to get to this 15 degrees, so if I make this black here so we can kind of see, in order to get to 15 degrees, I had to start at 0 degrees latitude, and I had to go what direction? I had to go south to get to this 15 degrees, which means I am 15 degrees south of the equator. So if I told you I am 45 degrees south of the equator, that means that I am somewhere along this line. Because this is a latitude line, and I'm south of the equator by 45 degrees. I've gone south. So these are all south. What I was seeing yesterday was that a lot of people were labeling this as a compass rose. Latitude and longitude lines, that's not a cardinal or intermediate direction. And so you have to remember cardinal and intermediate directions are not latitude and longitude lines. They're not the same thing. They're different. The whole point of a compass rose or knowing whether or not north, east, south, west is, it's just to know where is true north in the world. Like where's the North Pole? Where is north? And so now we're going to use those cardinal directions in order to figure out latitude and longitude in order to figure out distance. This is all about distance. Orientation and compass rose is just where is north. So let's go back to longitude. A longitude is longitude lines are an imaginary lines that measure distance east or west of the prime meridian, which is at 0 degrees longitude. So this right here is 0 degrees longitude, right here. It's a prime meridian, that's 0. And prime meridian and other longitude lines, they run up and down for the most part. They run up and down. So you can see this is a longitude line here. This is a longitude line running up and down here. These are pretty much, the Earth is, it is round, so we're not going to get these straight lines, but these are all longitude lines running here. So I cleared our map so we could clearly see our longitude lines. So as a reminder, longitude is our lines running up and down for the most part. And a longitude line is supposed to measure east or west from this 0 degrees longitude, from the prime meridian. So if I look on this map, I notice that some students had difficulty when they're looking at up here to figure out, well, what do I label these degrees up here? So remember, latitude and longitude lines, it is not a compass rose. A compass rose just tells you where north is. Latitude and longitude lines tell you what direction you are from 0 degrees. So there are different things. So if I'm looking at this, let's say I'm looking at 30 degrees right here. 30 degrees is this line. I would ask myself, okay, here I am. I'm sitting right over here on this line. What direction from 0 degrees longitude am I? And I'd say, well, I had to go, if I start at 0, I had to go this direction. And that direction over here is east. So which means I am east of 0 degrees longitude. In fact, all of these lines, 60 degrees, this is east of the prime meridian. I had to continue to go east from the prime meridian to get there. So these are 60 degrees. That's how far away it is from 0. That's the distance it is from 0. Another thing to remember is that this line goes all the way up and down. So some people came here and said, well, what do I put here? Well, this is the exact same line. So if I'm here or I'm here, I'm still 60 degrees east of the prime meridian. All of these over here are going to be east. I am east of the prime meridian. Remember, we are measuring distance away from 0 degrees longitude. The other thing students had questions about were these lines that are in between. So like, for example, this is 90 degrees right here. This is 120 degrees here. And they were saying, Mrs. DeBoer, what is this line in between? It's not labeled over here. This is in 15-degree increments. So if we looked at it, we go 0, 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. 90 plus 15 is 105. This right here is 105 degrees east of the prime meridian. And then I'd add another 15, I'd get 120, add another 15. This right here would be 135 on our map. If we went over here and say, what do we label these over here? Again, if I looked at 30 degrees, I'd say, well, a longitude line is supposed to measure distance east or west of the prime meridians. So what direction am I from the prime meridian, from 0 degrees longitude? Over here, I had to go west from the prime meridian. So all of these are going to be west. I had to go west of the prime meridian to get to that line. For longitude, we'll only have 3 labels after longitude lines. Something will either be at 30 degrees east or some degrees east. It might be like 30 degrees west or another degree west. And then we have longitude. So we'll only, after longitude lines, we should only see 3 things: east, west, or longitude.